Boom, hello, and welcome to the Protect Your Nation podcast, a podcast that is dedicated to making the world a better place, making the world a safer place by making good people dangerous. In this podcast, we're going to study and understand what it takes to protect your family, to protect your loved ones, because we all know that you have a few basic needs, food, water, and shelter, but you also have the need to protect those things in a world and society where evil runs rampant and is sometimes left unchecked. Learning how to protect yourselves and your loved ones is becoming more and more important. And so we strive to raise the level of accountability to those who would do evil on this planet by making sure that the sheep, that the flock, is more well-versed in protecting themselves and their loved ones. If that sounds interesting to you, then sit back and enjoy the show. Out.
Boom! What's up, you guys? Byron, we're back here with another episode. This is probably going on both podcasts, Protected Podcast and the Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast. We're talking about something really important today. I've got an amazing guest with an amazing background. Going to upset some people, but we're going to dispense some real high-quality information. We're going to prepare you guys in some really cool ways. I've got Phillip Koontz of Karambit.com with me. How you doing, brother?
Good, dude. Good. Thanks for having me on.
Dude, it's an absolute honor. It's a privilege. You know, we're definitely men of the same spirit. That always means a lot to me. And we're going to talk about something. I know we might break the internet today. So
let's go viral.
But we'll get into, why I think the Karambit is one of the best blades and force options to have in that compartment of your force options. Like why I think Karambit's one of the best blades for you to carry around in your EDC today. I've been doing it for years and I really like them and I love them. And we're going to get into the ology and the background and capabilities of standby, palms down, boom, this knife. And we also got some collaborations coming at you guys. So boom, stay tuned, man. So, Phil, you're the man, you are Karambit.com. Real quick, just some cliff notes for them before we get into the background. What made you choose this weapon to really, really, really like put yourself behind, especially with your background?
Yeah, man. So former Navy SEAL, I was introduced to the Karambit while I was in the SEAL teams on SEAL Team 10. That's when I got my first Karambit, and you know how it is in the teams, like one dude gets one and like everybody else wants one, because they're cool. So I actually carried it on all my missions and ops as my tertiary weapon. Some guys were carrying tomahawks and stuff and, fixed blades. But man, my Karambit, especially my folder, I actually have my original one that I bought way back when, over a decade ago. So this is the first one that I used on target. Definitely got me out of some pretty hairy situations for sure.
Got the same one. That's what's up.
There you go.
Same thing, dude. I had a close quarter situation with an Iraqi army dude inside of a post, and we can tell that story later. But yeah, it got me out of a hairy situation as well.
Yep. So that's when I was first introduced to them. And then I'm a public speaker as well, too. And I talk about my gear. I bring all my gear and stuff to my events. And inevitably, I'm pulling out my Karambit, talking about my first line of gear. And dudes are like, what is that? How did that just come out of your pocket like that? Like, that looks gnarly. And so I just started selling them. For about like 6 years, I would just sell them because there's a lot of knockoffs out there, you guys. So Karambit.com, they are all official, like state-of-the-art. They're legit there on our website. We've got Karambits anywhere from $10 all the way up to $1,700. So I would sell them. The Fox 479, Fox 599, those are our best sellers. I would sell those. And then eventually, there you go. Eventually, like last year, then the owner was like, he calls me up and he's like, hey, you've been like one of my most loyal customers. I'm selling the business. Do you want it? And I'm like, mic drop. Hell yeah. So I jumped on that super quick. My business partner, he's out in DC as well, too. Will Simpkins, great dude. So we've been rocking and rolling with Karambit.com now for about a year. We're the largest distributor of Karambit tactical knives in the country. So it's funny, Byron, you said we might break the internet because you know what, like some people, like they either love Karambits or they hate them. Right. One of the things I've been trying to do over the last year is push this boulder up a hill. And that boulder is a Karambit is a great self-defense knife, but how in the world is this a good EDC, everyday carry? And I'm like, man, I'm cutting food with this thing. I'm separating my kids' Legos with this thing. Like, I'm opening boxes. I'm using this. I'm pulling this out at least a half a dozen times every day to be able to do what I'm doing.
Nice.
So it is a great EDC. Proud owner now of Karambit.com, and we're crushing it, dude. And thank you for carrying it. And we just made you your own brand of Karambit, your handle. Show everybody what that handle is. So we can custom make handles as well too, with whatever the designs are that you might want. So we hooked up Byron with his sweet design there.
Protect the nation in the house.
That's your signature, dude. So yeah, I can talk all day long about it, man, but I don't want to blow up our time, just focusing solely on just the Karambits. But you take it from there. That's my 50,000 foot kind of answer to how I got into this.
Yeah, no, awesome, man. I don't know. For me, it's just so organic, man, because I literally had the same experience. I went to the PX before going to Iraq, and I was looking at blades, and I was like, like all young military Marines, and everybody's like, which blade's going to be my Excalibur, And I walked out of there with that Fox Karambit, and I loved it, and it was good for everything that I needed. And it ended up getting me out of a hairy situation where, I'll just tell the story right quick, man. So I'm sitting here on post, right? And I have an Iraqi army guy next to me. And if you've been over there, those guys can like maybe go both ways. Like,
they're squirrely, bro. They're squirrely.
You don't know if they're on your side. You don't know if they're not. They're negligently discharging weapons on accident. Maybe like they're we had a big situation where we had to go and steal a bunch of our gear back from them, like, and they're flip-floppy. So we had one throw a grenade into a post with some Marines a few weeks before this. And I'm sitting there, and this dude's like smoking, trying to smoke a cigarette next to me on post. And, if you tactical guys will know this, but I'll explain it for everybody. You can't smoke cigarettes at nighttime on post because you'll get shot in the face. So, and we had a situation where the enemy had some of our weapons because they got one of our sniper teams. And so the sniper threat was very high, and we were dealing with that throughout the deployment. So I couldn't let this guy sit here and smoke a cigarette right next to me. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, hey, bro, put out your cigarette. And he's like, nah, in Arabic, la mushkila, like not a problem, like calm down. And I'm like, dude, nah, bro, it's a problem. Put out your cigarette. So he won't do it. I take the cigarette, I put it out, and I'm just like, we're not doing that in here. He lights up another one, and he's just like smoking his little cigarette again. And I'm like, nah. So I take a cigarette, I put it out. The third time he starts to light up another one. I take it from him. I grab the whole pack, and I confiscate it basically. And we're in a post. This is like, 5x5, maybe 6x6. It's me and him. It's close quarters. And I carried my K-bar here, and I had my Karambit on a pocket draw as well. And he got so angry, and he actually started to draw on me inside that post. So he gets angry. He goes to grab his gun, and I pocket draw my Karambit just like that and pull out my K-bar and back him up right against the wall, like just instantly. He goes to grab his gun, boom, and my Karambit's up against his neck. My K-bar is up against the other side of his neck. I press him up into the wall, and we have a moment, one of those moments where men understand each other that transcends all language. And sure enough, he understood the situation. I took his weapon from him, and I kicked him out of the post. And then obviously I called my boys to watch my back the rest of the night. But being in that close quarter situation, trying to draw my pistol or trying to draw my rifle could have been cumbersome. I needed to act really quickly in a very confined space. And I wanted to use the least amount of force possible. I didn't want to have to actually smoke the dude. And I knew I could get that type of compliance, bringing those lethal weapons to bear that quick in that shorter space. And that pocket draw really helped me execute that. So from then on, man, the Karambit was just my kind kind of my EDC, and I like it because I don't have to go to knife fighting school for 100 years to understand that I can put this in my fist, I can jab with it, and I can slash with it, and it's a problem. It's a very simple blade to understand.
We've got training videos and stuff too on our website. So if people want some extra, just some instruction, they can look at my training videos and how to use it in everyday scenarios and stuff. And we sell trainers. So you're not pulling out your razor sharp Karambit right out of the box and sticking yourself or cutting yourself with it. So we've got trainers as well too that you can use. Yeah, man. Tell them about that. That's the most common injury that we get. Guys they're playing with it, they're flipping it around, and as it comes around, it's hitting them right there, like pretty darn close, man, to your artery right there. And you're like, ooh.
Yeah, I definitely sprayed across the living room and was like, did I just really do that? No, I mean, it ain't your knife till you draw blood, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, and I remember I took my finger off and it was like, psst, and I was like, this is an actual problem. Like, I look around, I was like, hey, babe, hold on one second. Go get my IFAC out of the car real quick.
Get my tourniquet, dude.
Yeah, man. Like, I was like, golly. But true story, man. So good, man. I know I love these blades. It's awesome. But let's get into you, man. One of my favorite questions is, who are you at your core?
Well, I mean, I got out of the SEAL teams after just over 6 years for family reasons, man. So we were just talking about this. Who I am at my core on a professional business level is I want to make a positive, lasting impact in the lives of everyone I'm speaking to as a public speaker, everybody that I'm helping, business coach, life coach, and then everyone that I'm training as well too with knives and hand-to-hand self-defense stuff. And so that is who I am at the core. I'm a man of faith as well too. So I'd be remiss if I don't bring that up as well too. So love Jesus, and my faith and all that is very central to my life. I'm married right now, and right now, like I'm not going to be married in the future. So I'm married, and we got 5 kids together. We're a blended family. We live here in Colorado. So family man, entrepreneur, businessman. I own 3 different companies, and I love what I get to do, dude. So that's kind of, that's what drives me. That's what wakes me up in the morning. So I got out of the SEAL teams with my family values, because it turns out, dude, that it's like oil and water. Being a good team guy and being a good dad, they just don't mix together, So I had to really make a tough call, and I got out for family reasons, because I wanted to be a dad that was in the mix and going to birthdays and showing up for baseball practices and games and ballet performances and all that stuff. So
yeah, man, no, I totally dig that, and I think a lot of guys have to make a decision, have that choice point. How do you, and I mean, like between like the masculine answer, like, yeah, of course you're happy about it and you love your family, like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. The stuff we have to say, but like, really, what would you say about someone who has chosen to walk that path? Like, what's it really, how do you cope with, the other side of that? Because, hacking through that book, Wild at Heart again, like we need, like, I don't want to say the word war, but us men need that challenge. I'd say in my book, Finding Meaning After the Military, you need to find your new fight when you get out, because a warrior is a warrior. You can't unsee what you've seen, and I think that's in the heart of every man as well. So how do you feel about that decision? What are some tools you've used to cope with that decision? What are some struggles associated with that?
Sure.
A little bit.
Yes, dude. Let's get into the nitty gritty, right? I like it. Great book, by the way, Wild at Heart, and then The Way of the Wild Heart, its sequel, by John Eldredge. Really, really good, dude. Yeah, I actually read that one on my second deployment, Way of the Wild Heart. Yeah, I got out of the military, and my faith kind of helped me transition pretty well. But then about a couple of years afterwards, I just started feeling angry all the time, and in the military, we channel anger doing like close quarter combat, high intense situations, we channel that anger. And I think it just took a little while for all that to kind of rise to the surface. And I was getting pissed off, like with everything, like I'd be like tying my shoes and mess up. And I'm like, oh, daggone it. Like I close the car door and it doesn't close all the way. And I'm like, oh, what? Yeah. I'm like, what is this? Like, this is not me. And it started bleeding into, relationships and stuff. And I'm like, this is not who I am. So every man out there, it's one of the things I like to say is it's okay to not be okay. That's something I really had to come to terms with and reach out to my pack, my boys that I could be really vulnerable with and transparent with, and reach out to them and say, man, I'm not doing good right now. Because no guy wants to admit that, and females too, like we've got that pride thing going on, and it's like, it's hard to admit that we're not doing okay. And so I had to admit that. And I went out and I got some counseling. I got some therapy, right, from the VA. I learned some good skills, like breathing skills, and just got some good, like, what do they call it? EQ, emotional intelligence. Like, how is my body reacting when I'm triggered right now? And how do I, taking a time out, and how do I let that cortisol flush through my body, and come back to the conversation, like cool, calm, and collected. And so I had to get some professional help there for a while. And now I'm lucky enough to be able to pass that along to a lot of my clients, my life coaching clients, business clients, and people who I speak to as well too, and just kind of help them through that process as well too. Because oftentimes, God allows us to go through the hardships of life that we have to go through and persevere through, so that we can then help other people who are struggling with the same thing. So, helping out veterans and talking with guys and one of the programs that my local church runs, it's called Reboot Combat Recovery. So, the VA does a really good job of taking care of the physical needs and the emotional needs, but the spiritual wounds of war too are a real thing. So it's like a 12-week process, and I help lead that as well too, talking about grief and suicide and just all the stuff that goes along with those negative coping mechanisms, all that kind of stuff. So that's been the journey that I've been on since I've been out. Okay.
No, that's awesome. I love that. Finding professional help, admitting that, hey, I'm having a tough time, even if you don't have to go and admit it to your family, go and find some help, go and find, people that are specialists at helping with this exact thing.
Right.
And it's a slow Tuesday to them. They see a bunch of dudes that are dealing with it, and they know what the trajectory of getting back online looks like. And they can be like, dude, this isn't weird. It's not weird. You're actually normal. Like, this is what is appropriate to deal with. This is what needs to be dealt with, and can walk you through that and help normalize some of that struggle, I think is important. I love that you said that. And that's because we got to be our best for our tribe.
Yeah. And it doesn't make you any less of a woman or a man to go out there and say, I need some help. I'm jacked up right now, and I need some. As a matter of fact, it's the courageous person, it's the strong person that's able to admit that and walk in that fear, face that fear, walk through that, and be a better person in the long run on the other side of that.
Yeah, man. Vulnerability is strength, in my opinion.
It is. Yep.
100% dig that. And then, what would you say about, like, as a warrior, finding your new fight, like coming back, and now we're in this like Nerf world, you feel like a Lamborghini being forced to drive in a school zone. You come from the teams, and now the biggest problem, you got toys on the ground is like the biggest problem half the time. Till you start doing entrepreneurial stuff, then the war is like all over. But anyway, but how do you deal with now as a civilian, keeping that warrior spirit that you have in you alive?
That's $1 million question, dude. Ooh. And just to be honest with you, I'm still trying to figure that out myself. Part of that working out and being, pretty hardcore still in the gym and getting my, my calisthenics in and weightlifting and cardio stuff. And, but my body's starting to break down, and feel the effects of the military, the teams and all the crap I had to put my body through. So, there's a little bit of grieving there too, with the loss of opportunity. So for me, that fight. So one of the funny things is when I got out of the teams, I was a contractor for a little while, teaching the Green Beret sensitive site exploitation there on Fort Bragg. And then after that, I actually became a pastor. The door opened for me to become a pastor at the Vineyard Church. And a lot of people are like scratching their head like, Phil, hold on a second, like time out. How did you go from being a SEAL to a pastor? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know what? God just moved me from the physical fight to the spiritual fight. Yeah. And for me, that fight right now is very much, looks very much like that, the spiritual fight for our souls, which is far more costly than just, power and control and land and freedom and all that. Those things are important. But but our souls, you know, and where we're going to end up kind of thing is very important. So that's kind of where I'm focusing my fight nowadays. And along with that, just training, you know, training people. I love knives. I love self-defense stuff. And so being able to impart those skills is really valuable to me. One of my 4 presentations, it's called Living Free and Fearless. It's all about how to protect yourself. It actually started out as a women's self-defense course. And then all the dudes are like, wait a minute, like we're missing out. We want this too. So, you know, opened it up to the general public and teaching everybody how to protect yourself in everyday scenarios. Situational awareness, so huge. How to strike zone, all that with non-dominant hand, dominant hand, level 1, level 2, level 3 strikes, using your cell phone as a weapon, how to get out of chokeholds. It's a lot of fun, but I like to impart those skills that I've learned to the general civilian publics to help them feel more safe, help them feel more prepared for if and when the stuff hits the fan and they're in a compromising situation. The more positive, lasting impact that I can have on people, the better. That's my MO. I want to have a positive, lasting impact on people, whether that's training, whether that's speaking, whether that's business coach, life coaching, which I've been doing for the last 5 years, you know, whatever, man. But
God provides all that stuff. We're just good.
That's right, dude. That's right. That's right. But I'm not going to lie. There's times when I wake up. I mean, owning your own business is stressful. There's times that I wake up and the enemy's he's at me, you know, trying to get like instill fear and worry and anxiety. Like, hey, what if the phone stopped ringing? What if you stop getting gigs? You know, then like the well's going to run dry. And I'm like, oh crap. And I'm like, I can't go down that rabbit hole because that's a dark place. But I just got to submit it, you know, to Christ and be like, you know, God, you've got me. You've always got me. So I trust you.
Dude, it's a freaking war. It is a war.
It is. It is.
To me, that's how I keep my warrior spirit alive. It is a mother freaking war. I am like, in my mind, staying focused, blacking out negative thoughts constantly, staying like on the course, like in faithful action as much as I can. You know, same thoughts. Hey, what if you can't do it again? What if, you know, and then it's like, oh, sweet. Like yesterday I had like a whole mountain of wins and it was a drought before that. And I was like, oh, win. And then this morning I'm working out and it's like, everything's blowing up that I thought I did yesterday. And I'm like right back where I started. And it's like, me, like this is the fight. Like, good. Okay, cool. I'm going to rebuild better, rebuild stronger. This is all happening for a reason. You know, his father's showing me stuff. So I just got to navigate this. It's all love, man. You know, so beautiful stuff, man. We have such kindred spirits, man. We would be foolish not to work together at a pretty high capacity. So yeah, it's organic, man. That's gonna happen. You are a good dude, Byron Rodgers. I'm trying. No, likewise, man. I can see it. I can feel it, you know, like it's the same spirit. So it recognizes really quick. Just off a few things you said, there's been a lot of like I feel like, you know, Christianity has been kind of watered down. So we have this whole like we feel like there's a lack of congruence as warriors in church sometimes. But like there's a verse in there that says the Lord is a warrior. The Lord is his name. Yeah. I mean, like there's plenty that shows a man if he's not, you know, dealing with like the kind of propaganda of us being just nice hippie guys. Like Jesus wasn't a nice hippie guy. Like it's so horrible to me that they did that. Because if you read the book for your dang self, I mean, God is the most serious, like loving, but also that love has accountability. You know, if you that is love as well. That's righteousness. And then you see, you know, Jesus, there's multiple times in there where, you know, the Pharisees get handled. Even the disciples are like, yo, who forgot the loaves and fishes, bro? Like you tell Jesus. No, you tell him, man. I ain't gonna. I mean, he is a man to be reckoned with, you know. Well, and Paul says in Romans chapter 13, you know, like that we do not bear the sword for nothing. You know, there is that ability. There is that, like, it's our job to help rid the world of evil, you know, as ambassadors of Christ. And I'm like, I love that term, that ambassador of Christ, and kneeling before him as my king, as my general, and saying, you know what, God, use me however you will to advance your kingdom on this dark planet. And let's face it, Byron,
this world isn't getting any better, bro. Right. I mean, just look at all the stuff that's going on a global level. I mean, forget the pandemic. That was bad. But I mean, you got stuff with Ukraine right now, and then ISIS and everything in the Middle East, and potential nuclear threats, North Korea. I mean, we got all this stuff going on. The stuff could hit the fan like
today.
That.
Yep.
Right.
Like before the end of this podcast,
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And so many Americans are like, living in their little protective bubble, with their head in the sand, like an ostrich, like hear no evil, see no evil. I'm fine. I'm a little bubble. And it's like, bro, that little bubble could get popped like, real quick. So
100%. And that's what we're here for. I think, warriors are one of the highest acts of service. We are, it's an act of service. You don't just get that have. To be a useful warrior for good, it's something you must cultivate. And really to go back on what you were saying and tease out something I want to make sure they get. Really finding your new fight, what you said in so many words was you found something bigger than yourself that you could pour yourself into, Being a pastor, if you look at Jesus, prophet, priest, and king, it's all in there, being a pastor, empowering good people to defend themselves. You found like a cause another mission that's larger than you, that you could pour yourself and your warriorship and your servantship and leadership into. And that's really what I write about. That's what I think, guys, if you're coming back and you're like, man, the world is tasteless without this level of intensity that I once had. You can find something bigger than yourself like you had in the military and pour yourself into that. And you can really, 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 really create a life that is thriving and alive and full of vibrance and full of everything that you had in the military and more, with moral high ground and fulfillment. So it's pretty awesome. Let's get into the blades, man. If you're up for that. I think we touched a little bit on kind of the spiritual stuff and the familial stuff. I've always kind of wondered about, what would you say about the Karambit first as an EDC tool and then second as like a survival tool? Yeah.
So again, I mean, it's what I've been carrying now for over a decade, and I'm using this thing every single day. So really my go-to is my Karambit for my EDC. I mean, it's amazing. It's what I go to. So it's, yeah. And then as far as self-defense, you're not going to find anything else out there that's anything better than a self-defense knife. So.
Okay. Why though? But why? Like for self-defense, close quarters, is it the curve of the blade that gives you some type of advantage and utility? Is it the quick application? Because like here in Cali, fixed blade has to be showing if it's over 2 inches. We got all these rules. Obviously, There's major advantages to a fixed blade. I love, having the wave opening. I love push daggers and Karambits. Seem like the simplest knives for me to be able to apply the quickest.
Yeah. So I mean, like you kind of covered it. I love the wave feature, where it actually it catches on your pocket, and pulls out immediately, like you showed us a couple times already. One of the only knives out there that does that. It's not an automatic knife. It's a self-assist. It's coming out one-handed, and it's game on in a close quarter kind of combat. Here's the other cool thing. This is the only single knife out there on the market that can do this. So I'm close quarter. I get some distance, we're cutting and slicing. By the way, this is like nature's killing design. This looks like the raptor claw, right? The beak of a bird or a talon, so this is like a mountain lion claw, right? Yeah.
It's meant to tiger, as Ed likes to say.
Yeah, it's meant to grab. It's meant to tear. It's meant to cut very, very well and slice. But the only knife out there where I'm cutting, it's close quarter, and then I'm getting some distance. And then all I do is I flip it up because my finger's still in the ring right here. I flip it up, I grab my EDC, and then I'm able to put rounds on target with the knife still in my hand. And I've done this before, by the way, for all the critics out there, and it does work. Pretend like I get a jam, or maybe I run out of ammo. I drop my gun, right? And guess what's still right there, dude? Guess what's still right there? My knife, I flip it up and I'm still back in the fight, even if I have a jam or anything else. So yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yep. True. I can totally do what I need to do with this like this.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Okay. We're learning some stuff, man. So being able to wield both is a huge advantage. Another thing I love about it, man, is if I do have this and I still need to like say things are escalating and I don't want to brandish a blade, I can have this.
Yep. The finger ring.
Hand, and I can tuck it behind my hand until I need to use it if I need to use it. So I really like the concealability of it. Because I was in a situation where there was this dude who was like 350 pounds. He was like huge. And he was rolling up on me and my wife in a, after we went out, we got invited. I don't go to clubs and I don't go to bars, right? But of course, my friend was having one. I mean, I'll go with you, like, okay, cool. Like, I don't have a problem with it. But in my personal life, I don't just like go do those things. And of course, a buddy was having a party and But at the end of the night, some dude starts rolling up on us and he's like, getting all weird about like, yeah, man, things happen in the streets just automatically, just crazy stuff happens in the streets. And I'm like, I mean, and, the only thing I could do really is put my wife behind me and say, yes, they do, and stay grounded with them. But I already had my ringed blade out in my hand and I was really calm. And I think his buddy just could see how calm I was and was like, come on, man. And he was like getting him out of there. And I
don't want to mess with this guy.
Yeah, I was like, I got disparity of force, man. This guy's got like 80 pounds on me. I'm actually going to have to defend myself if this happens. I want to walk away. I can't turn my back to this dude right now. He's thinking about jumping me. And there was a major advantage to me being able to get ready, being able to hold my blade. If I had to grab, if I had to do anything, I can do that. And also being able to conceal that blade because I didn't want to escalate the situation. And I think that's a pretty huge advantage too.
Yeah. Another thing that you said, I thought you were going to take it in this direction, but with that finger ring, if you don't want to escalate to the point of the blade, with that finger ring, you can also strike, with that linear strike to the face, to the T, you can strike with that metal finger ring and still make a pretty good impact without necessarily using lethal force as well too. And I can draw this thing out. Like I'm pretty good, man, with a firearm. Yeah, I can get my EDC out there. I can get my concealed carry out there real fast, but I can actually deploy this thing faster than I can with my firearm. So if anyone is within, I'd say 5 feet of me, I'm pulling out my Karambit before I am my firearm. So,
yeah, man, and that's what I did in Iraq in that post, which was just. Yep. I didn't even think about it. Like you want to be like, oh, I'm going to guns. But like, I didn't even, my brain just knew like, pull out your blades, get on this guy now, So that was pretty awesome, man.
Yep.
So what about like the survival guys that are like, can you skin a deer with this thing? Like, does it have those capabilities?
It sure does. I make fires with this, like whittling and stuff with my boys. I'm making fires. So we have this is new and improved. This is coming out this year. It's called the Karambit Warrior Weekend, and we're using our Karambits for simply all just survival techniques. And building fires is one of those. We're field dressing an animal. Last year, I shot. I'm a big bow hunter, so I shot a deer. I skinned it with my Karambit. A couple years before that, I got an elk. And did the same thing. So yeah, man, you can use this absolutely. And for all the hunters out there, this is my go-to for skinning and gutting animals as well too. And let me just say this: the number one thing that we get from people, as far as like scratching their head, like, hey, is how do you sharpen? How do you sharpen a Karambit? How do you sharpen a curved blade? Yeah. Well, you sharpen the curved blade with a cylindrical stone. So my finger here is my cylindrical stone, which we do sell those on our website as well too. You make sure you hold that 20 to 25 degree angle, and you're just sharpening your Karambit, just like this. Can you see that like well enough? So you're just sharpening your Karambit like this with that cylindrical stone. Not cutting my finger off, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the things that we get the most is, hey, how do you sharpen this thing? Because I'm skinning a deer or an elk, and I'm going to need to sharpen this thing afterwards. So that's exactly how I do it. Maintain that really sharp edge on the knife.
Nice, man. Yeah. I think the only downside to the Karambit, in my opinion, is I feel like they're kind of like pit bulls, or like, I have a Cunning Corso and a Doberman Pinscher, right? So, the 140 pound, 100 pound dogs, right? And, it's like having two other dudes live at the house. Sometimes it gets like juvenile hall in here, but, but the dogs have a bad rap, so, when we were looking for apartments back in the day, they're like, oh, you have aggressive breeds and they're scary, So the only thing that I not worry about, but consider sometimes is when someone looks at this, they don't perceive it as like a knife with an alibi, Do you have any workarounds for that? Like they kind of look at it like that's a killing knife,
Right. Dude, some people like in my presentations and stuff that come up to me afterwards are like, oh no, I'm good. I don't even want to touch that thing because it looks so dangerous. And I'm like, it's not going to bite you, right? Yeah. Unless you do something stupid with it. Right. So, I mean, it's just like a firearm. It's just like anything else, it's like a freaking pencil, a pencil could be dangerous. Just don't stick yourself in the eye with it. Right. Or a BB gun.
Especially if you're John Wick, man.
Right. Right. So, I mean, it's just like anything else, a knife is a tool, and it's an amazing tool. The Karambit's an amazing tool. Does it look intimidating? Yeah, it does. But that's part of the appeal. That's part of the appeal. And in my mind, I like the look of it. I like how intimidating it is. But if that's you, I would just encourage you, get one, get a trainer, learn it, get familiar with it. And that's going to go away real fast. That trepidation, of the style of the hawkbill shaped knife, that's going to go away because you're getting more comfortable with it. So we're kind of like the nerdy kid in school right now in the whole like knife world. We're like nerdy kid, and some people are like, I don't know still about this Karambit thing. Like I don't know, it's kind of cool, but I'm like, education and just getting some trigger time with it, just getting some practice time with it will help everybody kind of, subside those fears a little bit as far as just the aggressiveness of how it looks.
How would you say, so, all right, so somebody goes ahead, and I agree 100%. I like the way it looks. I love the appeal. I love that when people look at me, sometimes they like see a loop on my pocket and they're like, oh, and I'm like, the better to protect you with, Right. So someone's like, okay, sweet. Like I dig it. I'm totally down. I want the knife that looks like I can kill aliens. Where do I start? Because it's the same question I get all the time. Hey, Byron, I'm going to get a new gun. What kind of gun should I get? And I'm like, right. The guns these days generally go bang. Okay. You should date a few guns before you buy one, but really the technology's there. I think the real question is, what kind of training are you going to get? So how would you suggest somebody goes about gaining some competence with this weapon system if they do decide to join the dark side of the blade world?
Yeah, I would say, again, like we got a lot of videos on our website. You can check out those videos. Guys like Doug Marcaida, which everybody knows, he kind of made the Karambit, famous a few years back. So he's got training videos as well too. Get yourself that trainer, just get some time on it. We've got, like I said earlier, we've got knives anywhere from $10 all the way up to 1,700. We've got, here's what we call the Rhino. This is by Revo. We've got the Kodiak. These are custom made Damascus blades, steel and carbon fiber handles. So this bad boy looks like I could actually take on a Kodiak bear with a couple of these, scrapping with them. We've got a lot of different.
That's like got a little holster to be like an EDC kind of party.
Yeah. So small. Yeah, dude, this is one of my go-tos. One of our top sellers is the Kodiak on the website. So this is obviously a fixed blade. So it's got a not a holster. It's got a sheath for it as well too. But we got a lot. So I would say start small and then work your way up. Right. So start with one that's going to be like $50, and then this is our Fox 479. That's what you and I have been flashing around. Another really good seller is our Fox 599. So this is just a little bit smaller for guys that have smaller hands, right? So it's about a half. The blade is about 1/4 of an inch smaller, and the handle is about 1/2 inch smaller. So a little bit better for guys that have smaller hands. So these are our top sellers, but I mean, just work your way up. These are only $130, dude. So it's not going to break the bank. Really great warranty on them. They're going to last you forever. And then just work your way up, as you get more and more familiar with them.
Well, and no, he's not joking about the fake freaking Karambits out there online.
Oh yeah.
That is a
Yep.
real thing. I have bought a couple and they disintegrated within 72 hours of me taking them out of the, I can go get them. They're in my knife drawer. It was so disheartening, and they look exactly the same. And you're like, oh, I can get one of these for like a quarter of the price. Why am I going to spend money on that one? And then you get a knife that literally falls apart when you start practicing or doing anything with it. It's just going to die. So
I've lost track of how many phone calls we get from people just like that. They're like, I got this Karambit falling apart, and we're like, well, let me see it, and it's like, yeah, that's not ours. But here's what we can offer you. And dude, like, I mean, our customer feedback on our website is phenomenal. So people, guys, just women and men, they love them.
If you go back in the DMs between me and your Instagram page, you will see the exact same conversation. Yo, bro, I got this Karambit offline. It's falling apart in 2 seconds. Yo, let me see, literally the same. Let me see a picture of it. Oh yeah, this is what I got, and this is what's happening. Cool, man. That's not one of our Karambits. I did then you guys sent me one and took care of me. So that's a real thing, you guys. Pay attention to that. That Kodiak also looks super dope to like just put on the outside of your kit, man. Something you can just grab and really be able to bring something to bear if you absolutely need it. There are a lot of videos I get sent with police officers trying to defend their sidearms, and something like that is a really great tool to be able to make sure that doesn't happen to you.
Yeah, there's a lot of law enforcement officers that carry Karambits to help get people out of the seatbelts, and out of cars and stuff, and they can break the windows and everything with the finger ring. So it's they're a good time. I'll show you something else too. Our Spike. This is something else that's really popular as well too. Kevin over at M3 Tactical, he makes these. One more thing, I have to give a shout out to our Evos. So that's the knife I just sent you. Our Evo knife. The really cool thing about it is you can actually interchange the handles. We call those scales, right? In the knife world. So you can interchange those scales. So I got my American flag one here. You've got your branded one as well too. But you can interchange these scales. We have a lot of different designs and scales on our website. So basically, I mean, look, dude, you take off the scale and put on something different. It's basically like having a brand new knife. It looks completely different with the handles and stuff. So these are our Evos as well too. We're about ready to roll out with our Evo 2.0, where you can interchange the blade, bro, and you can interchange the different finger rings. So you got finger rings like this. You've got one with like a punch. You've got a finger ring that looks like this, kind of thing. So you can basically customize your own knife to however you want it to look. So that's the beauty of our Karambit Evo, EVO, Echo, Victor, Oscar, Evo knives.
Heck yeah, bro. I absolutely love that. That's the only thing that I was like, man, I'd like to have a little something to add some abrasive content here, because if I do have to punch, I mean, opening someone's face up is really, really effective way to be a little less lethal and stop them from wanting to fight, because there's a lot of blood you got to deal with. It looks horrible, but it's really pretty superficial. But to be able to punch with that and do some things like that to change someone's mind, while they can still think, is pretty so awesome, man. I'm really excited about it, man. I absolutely believe in this blade. I've used this blade. It was with me the whole time I was in Iraq, the whole time I was in the Marine Corps. I told you guys that I've, about what my experience has been with it. So, I think, and I went through like this maturation process with knives, because I had certain other guys I really respect that were like totally trashing the Karambit, bro. They like hated them, and I had to really kind of be like, well, what do I think, what's right for me, and I just don't have time to go spend 5-10 years in the dojo learning all this stuff. I need something that's simple that I can look at and be like, I know I can keep distance and defend myself with this. I guarantee you it's a problem if I get this thing in my hand and I still have a base level of education, so don't neglect the education, guys, but this is definitely a blade I stand by and have used, and I'm glad to be connected with Phil on this, man.
Yeah.
It's an honor.
Yeah, man. Thank you for allowing us to partner with you as well, too, man. We got some good things coming in the future for sure.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. There's a lot more coming with this. You do on the spectrum of like your force continuum, you really do want to be competent, from a hand to hand, from obviously the soft skill level with all your verbal stuff and your deterrence and living a safer pattern of life and your situational awareness, on into the hand-to-hand stuff, on into blade tactics, on into firearms, and on up into creating networks and teams within your neighbors and social environment to be able to protect yourselves and your families. So this is one more thing that I want you guys to take seriously and pay some attention to. We got some good stuff coming. Me and Phil about to lay out some opportunities for you guys to do some training. And like he said, get the blade, hop on their social media, learn some things, and that will really be competent. Get a trainer and practice some patterning, and practice a little bit because you want to be competent with these things. And they have the assets there for you to learn. So awesome.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Heck yeah, man. Well, thanks so much for spending this time with us. Phil, it's an honor. Definitely we'll put the links. Send me your links and stuff like that. We'll put those in the description for folks that want to follow you. Maybe hire you to do some speaking, and also want to get some blades and things like that. And I look forward to everything, man. Heck yeah.
Cool, dude. Yeah, me too, buddy. Yeah. Thanks for having me on, man. God bless you and everybody else that's watching this right now. So you guys have a good day.
That's what's up. Awesome.
This is my MCK. There are many like it, but this one is mine. If you've got a firearm sitting around, a pistol that you are not doing anything with, get an MCK. They make them for every single model. If you want a micro conversion kit that will turn your handgun into a force multiplier, get one, man. They are ultra affordable. CAA MCK micro conversion kits are changing the game, y'all. So if you don't have one, you need to get one. Get one. Your women, children, people that are less physically potent will be able to fire your firearm to farther distances with more accuracy. You will be able to fire your firearm to farther distances with more accuracy. I want to get one of these into the hands of 100,000 more protectors this year, because ultimately we are only as good as the nation is only as good as its protection. Your home is only as safe and as good as your ability to protect it. MCK, go get one. Drop your handgun in, take it to the next level. Out. Boom.
Boom. Yo, what up? I hope you guys really enjoyed that episode. Hey, listen, in order to get more out of the brand, I want to encourage you to go join us on our social media platforms and join us at protectornation.com. We post different types of content on our different platforms at different times. You'll get blog posts, you'll get videos, you'll get real world combat engagements and things like that. So stay plugged in order to get the most out of the brand. In order to support us, also go to protectornation.com and buy something, or join forces with me on Patreon. You'll scroll down the homepage and you'll see the link. Anything you can give counts. Think about whatever you would lose in your cushions or like spend on McDonald's this month, $5 a month, whatever it is. That helps us make the world a better place by making good people dangerous. Anyways, this is Byron Rodgers, protector by nature and by trade, and I'll see you on the next piece of content, whether it's a video or podcast. Out.